What's up, everybody? Last week we got Season 2 reloaded of Warzone and Black Ops 6. So, of course, there is a little bit of meta shifting like there typically is. Today we're going to talk about the long-range meta. But before we get into that, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you like this type of content and want to see it first. We will have a close-range meta video likely coming tomorrow. So make sure you hit that notification bell so you can see that first. And when the video's done, comment down below what you think of the loadouts, the rankings, whatever. But let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, first off, we're starting off with something that is devastating, but it is really hard to use, so it's weird to try to put it into the meta, because the time to kill does blow away everything on this list, but it requires a higher skill gap than anything on this list, and that part of it's not particularly close. But that's going to be the Goblin MK2, and these loadouts are going to be pretty similar across the board. We're going to have the Willis 3 times, or whatever your optic of choice is, the Compensator, the Reinforced Barrel. Now, the Reinforced Barrel does damage range and bullet velocity. The long barrel just does damage range, and the gain twist barrel does bullet velocity only. So kind of decide what's important for yourself. The bullet velocity on the Goblin is so high, I don't think you really have to worry about that. So either go long barrel or reinforced, but I prefer reinforced to help the damage range and the bullet velocity. And typically I go with damage range if I can only choose one either way. Then we have the vertical foregrip for horizontal recoil control. Once again, there's not a whole lot of horizontal recoil on this. It's more... I mean, it's single tap, it's single fire, so recoil is not as big of a deal. So you could go down to like the Ranger foregrip and get more sprinting move speed. But I would just stick with the vertical foregrip to make it as low recoil as possible. Then we have extended mag number 2 for 50 rounds. You could go extended mag 1, especially in smaller squad sizes, but I would go with extended mag 2. Then we have light stock, helps with hipfire speed, movement speed, and strafing move speed. It just is the best for movement. And then we have recoil springs. You could also go with overpressure to get even crazier bullet velocity, but like I said, this thing's already kind of harder to use with it being one tap, so I'd like to lower the recoil as much as possible. If you're going with 5 attachments, keep the Willis, keep the Compensator, keep the barrel, keep the mag. So that's 4. I would probably use vertical foregrip just to help with the recoil more, because then commando grip and light stock are handling and movement. You could also go recoil springs instead of vertical foregrip, but I would stick with just the first 5 attachments you have here. So then moving on to LMGs, if you like to use LMGs, hasn't changed since I did this for Season 2. The Fang, the recoil's pretty strong on the Fang, but if you can deal with it, it does hit really hard. So we're going Willis 3 times, or your choice of optic, Compensator, Reinforced, or Long Barrel, or you can go Gain Twist. Vertical foregrip, extended mag 1. So the original mag is like 30, extended mag 2 is 50. Extended mag 3 is 75, but then you're really hurting the reload quickness and the aim down sight speed. So I go with extended mag 1. Then commando grip, we have no stock because there's no negatives to it, and it's the same thing as the light stock. And then recoil springs. And once again, if you are only using 5 attachments, I would stick with the first 5. You could drop off vertical. Actually, really, you wouldn't want to drop off compensator. You could drop off maybe the compensator if you wanted recoil springs, but I would just stick with the first 5 attachments on there. Then we go to the XMG, which is the best LMG. It's got a really competitive time to kill with the ARs on this list. And, you know, it does have the buffer weight stock, so that's going to be the main difference here. But otherwise, it's once again your choice of optic, compensator, reinforced barrel, long barrel, or gain twist. Vertical foregrip, fast mag 1 on this one because it still takes you down to 75 and it helps with your reload quickness and your aim down sight. The original mag is like 100, so you don't even need the extended mags. If you wanted to drop an attachment on this gun, this is one that I would probably drop. And then you have commando foregrip and buffer weight stock recoil springs. So if you're going 5 attachments here, I'd go Willis, or your choice of optic, compensator, reinforced barrel, vertical foregrip, and then buffer weight. Buffer weight still helps tremendously, so you could drop the fast mag commando and recoil spring. So we're going to AR, the third best AR. So right here, I think you could put the GPR, the Model L, or the Krig. The Krig is looking like the best time to kill of those with not super easy recoil, like both of those have that issue. And so I just put the Krig here to be a little different, but the loadouts would be pretty much the same, and you could put the GPR or the Model L here if you want it. Once again, it's the same loadout as it has been. Now, we do have extended mag 2 here because extended mag 1's only 45. If that's good with you, definitely go with that because otherwise you're hurting ADS, but you do get 70 rounds in the extended mag 2. And then we have commando grip, no stock, and recoil springs. 5 attachments, it's the same thing. Just go with the first 5, drop the commando grip, the no stock, and the recoil springs. So moving on to AR number 2, we have the Ames. The Ames is the best alternative to the XM4. It's super low recoil. It's got a competitive time to kill. It's really, really easy to use. And if people don't have number 1 leveled up, which I know I have friends that don't have that leveled up, the Ames is definitely a good option to go with. And it's the same loadout. Willis 3 times or your choice of optic, compensator, reinforced long barrel or gain twist, precision foregrip, extended mag. Actually, it should be vertical foregrip. Extended mag 2, which is 60 rounds. Extended mag 1's only 45, but if you're playing in smaller squad sizes, of course, that works. Commando grip, light stock, and recoil springs. And once again, for 5 attachments, just drop the last 3. And then finally, AR number 1 is going to be the Cypher. The Cypher is definitely the best AR in my mind, and the best long-range option. In fact, I finally dropped a BR 20 bomb. I had Resurgence and Big Map Resurgence 20s, but I hadn't done it on Big Map, and I finally did that with the help of the Cypher. And it's the same loadout as we've been talking about. Once again, we have Extended Mag 2 is 60 rounds, Extended Mag 1's 45, so that's going to depend on your squad size. Then we have the Commando grip again, which is funny because it actually changes the shape of the gun a little bit, which typically doesn't happen with the grips. Light stock and recoil springs, and of course lop off the last 3 attachments. So that's going to be your 6 long range options. We got the Goblin, we got the Fang, we have the XMG, the Krig C, the Ames, and the best is the Cypher. So if you were just here for loadouts, that's where we're going to stop here. Thank you so much for watching. But for the rest of us, we're just going to jump over to True Game Data really quick. Just go look at the TTKs and not much else. So you can see we have everything loaded in here. Now, the only attachment we have anywhere is the Reinforced Barrel because nothing else changes the damage ranges, and there's no TTK modifiers except for the rapid fire, but you don't use rapid fire because it just like destroys your gun. And on most guns, it actually changes the damage and lowers it. I don't know if it does for the Cypher. It's not on here, but you can see like the Ames damage profile modified, the Krig C damage profile modified. So it does actually lessen your damage as well. So you don't want to use that. So we only have the reinforced on here just to make it quick and easy. We'll go ahead and go to combination shots, and we'll use the default true game data values, which that adds kind of blocking, and so is my cam. But you can see right there, just percentages that up to 100. And this is just their average. This is their guess at what the average percentage of shots are hit where. And you can see the Goblin is destroying TTKs. And there's a small range where it's not the best. And actually the Krig is the best, which is part of the reason the Krig is on this list. And then far range, the Goblin is destroying everything else on the list. You can see the Cypher here is pretty in line with the Krig C with a lot less recoil. So that's why it gets the nod. And the Ames, long range, isn't too far off of the Krig C and the Cypher, and it has like 0 recoil, so that's why it ends up being second. The XMG, well, up into like the mid ranges is competitive. Far range, it and the Fang both really drop off, which is also why LMGs aren't as good, because they seem to drop off harder. Plus, you get all the negatives of the LMGs, the slow reloads, the slow ADS, the slow movements, and so when you combine that with them not dominating TTK wise, it's also my ranking is essentially how I would rank them if I didn't categorize them. And so you can see with the TTK, the combination of the low recoil of the Cypher plus the very competitive TTK compared to all the other automatic weapons on this list makes it strong in the position it is. So that's why we have that as the number 1 meta. And the Ames, like I said, is really there for the low recoil, which is the spot the XM4 used to occupy. And you could take the Krig C out, and if you wanted to, you could add in the GPR, or you could keep the Model L here, and they're not super far off, but the recoil is a little more difficult. And you look at like the GPR drops off way too hard in the mid range. It's good, and the Model L, which is this one, it's competitive with the it's competitive with the other guns, but it's not competitive with the Krig C, and the Krig C is taking up our slot for not super duper easy recoil. And so that's why the Model L and the GPR are left off this list. So, like I said, that's going to be my top long-range meta options. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I will see you on Area 99, Rebirth Island, and Urzikstan. Get frying. Have a good day.